What's up YouTube, Fallout Freak here, and I'm back with another factions video. So we did a factions video to the abolitionists in the last one, and they're from Fallout 3, so we've gone full circle once again. So we're going to be talking about a Fallout 4 faction in this one, and that faction is none other than the Forged. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the Forged. The Forged are a faction in the Commonwealth in 2287. Background: a raider gang that has recently established themselves within the Commonwealth a few months ago. The Forged are a group of raiders obsessed with fire and metal who have claimed the Saugus Ironworks for themselves. They are incredibly tough and feared due to the brutal initiation rituals they undergo. Burns are a common feature distinguishing them from other raiders. At first, they had trouble with finding local recruits as they would break under the pressure of the initiation rather than emerging stronger, which Slag referred to as honing to an edge. Slag initially thought that he would have to abandon operations in the Commonwealth due to this lack of adequate recruits. This changed when he met their neighbors, the gunners from the nearby Hub City auto wreckers, who were stronger and sharper than the average Commonwealth raiders. He convinced a few to attempt the trials, which they passed, angering their gunner leaders. The gunners and the Forged initially fought over the eventually negotiations were started. Once word spread of a raider gang that could hold their own against the gunners, more recruits wished to join. Outside relations. The Forged are cruel and sadistic, showing no mercy to outsiders, members, or recruits. Candidates must pass several trials to prove their worth before becoming one of the Forged. No details about what these trials consist of can be found, but failure is met with death. Initiates must change their name to a tougher nickname, typically one that invokes fire and machinery. A terminal lists a number of individuals who failed the Forge, either during or after the initiation trials, including Arsenic, Chamber, Damage, Duke, Hood, Havoc, Rampart, Rife, Riptide, and Viper. One candidate, Yancey, was killed for refusing to change their name. Mutilation, branding, and death are used as punishment. For example, crying out in pain is punished with amputation and exile, while allowing enemies to flee results in branding and exile. Sleeping during one's watch results in blinding and exile. Death as punishment results from fleeing from enemies, cheating or crying during the trials, stealing rations, or giving away form of support to the enemy. Retribution for refusal to follow orders includes executing the offender's family along with exile. The Forged are affiliated with at least one raider company, as seen by the presence of Bedlam in the Dunwich Borers, as the quarry is occupied by the Forged in their search of scrap metal and iron to keep Saugus Ironworks running. The terminal in the area where Bedlam can be found contains her writings commenting on the raiders' failed metal production for the Forged to their displeasure and her regard for them as subordinates. Depending on the sole survivor's choices in handling other raider gangs in the Commonwealth before encountering the Forged, Slag will comment on these choices via his terminal. If Libertalia is destroyed, he will remark that it is not a great feat to destroy those who are weak, and would like to see those individuals face the Forged. If Bosco is killed, he will comment that someone killed the lunatic and that the Commonwealth people are stronger than he thought. If the Corvega assembly plant is cleared, Slag will write that he doubts that the location's leader Jared was even sober enough to enjoy the fight. Jake Finch, in a bid to protect his family farm from the Forged, attempted to join and gifting his family's sword to their leader Slag. Due to the Forge's possession of unique Enclave technology, namely a heavy incinerator and a suit of Hellfire power armor, the Forged have become the targets of the remnant Enclave expedition in the Commonwealth in 2287. Technology. The Forged utilize predominantly fire-based weapons such as flamers and Molotov cocktails. A heavy flamethrower was looted off the same Enclave remnants, kept as a prize for recruits that pass the Crucible. Occasionally, they can be found wielding laser pistols or rifles, usually modified to deal fire damage for melee attacks. The Forged tend to use sledgehammers and rarely super sledges. The Forged leader Slag uses the shish kebab gifted to him by Jake Finch. Unlike most raider gangs in the Commonwealth, the Forged do not use traditional raider armor. Instead, they wear full body cage or spike armor, as well as with the occasional drifter outfit. Slag is the only member of the Forged who possesses power armor. Let's see, named recruits. Notes: the Forged are generated from the same stat table as generic raiders. As a result, they have the same special stats and number of hit points, but they use atypical weapons and armor that is generally superior to that used by most low to mid-level raiders. The Forged can sometimes be encountered in other locations apart from Saugus Ironworks. Appearances: the Forged appear in Fallout 4 and Fallout Wasteland Warfare. So that is a little bit about the Forged from Fallout 4. Let me go ahead and pull you up a picture of what the Forged looks like if my internet cooperates with me. There we go. Now let me get to my desktop. And there's a few members of the Forged. This is Slag right here. You can see a burn scar right up here, and he's wearing some really heavy duty power armor right here. And if I can pull up a few more pictures of the Forged, and well, it doesn't look like my internet's cooperating with me with that. But regardless, that is my factions video for today about the Forged. Hit me up in the comment section below, and please let me know what you think about the Forged and what you think about Saugus Ironworks in general and their, I guess, base of operations. But until my next Fallout Freaks channel and factions video in general, you must always remember that war never changes.